bullshit blazing, still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new one. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game. In the toxic created by this world. That is who you are. No science will say that I must be get some kind of way out. Gravity gets us from the ground. That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If I lose my wings, I don't need a new world. How dare you? Can't feel a thing. We already know the smell of the game. Remember, you are blazing, still your heart is blazing. If the world made you, I don't need a new world. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the game. What am I? What am I? What am I?
Mankind knew that they cannot change society, so instead of reflecting on themselves, they blamed the beasts. But they found beauty in the lives of beasts and couldn't lie to themselves about it.
And this is no part of the world. But no one can break me. Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world. How dare you? My time is my word. Your words will never let me disappear. That is bullshit blazing. Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world. How dare you? Soon you will know. We already know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the, know the smell of the game.
Thank
you
you
very
all.
much, Sabeth. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very
You
much,
go for it.
Gordon. it's always hard doing these. And so it's always it's always hard doing these intros with GOP because we haven't casted a whole lot together, and I think we're both sort of a play-by-play kind of casters.
We
between
gotta
us.
do whatever. We just go with the
Yeah.
flow. We make it work.
But thank you all so much for joining us today. We do have a bit of a smaller tournament, but still is going to be quite the time today. We have we have 4 unique fighters amongst everyone, so there's not going to be a single mirror match. So it's going to be pretty interesting for sure.
Absolutely. And of the 4 players that we do have here today, 3 of them are returning from the last tournament. We have Kiwi, who did end up taking the previous tournament with their Faust being incredibly powerful. We have Draco with their Kai, very strong as well. We're very excited to see how they're going with that character. Ia is returning as well, and they have done a lot of leveling up, so I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. And last but not least, we have Harrow with their Ram Lethal, who you just absolutely cannot sleep on. They've been putting a lot of time and effort into this game, and all of these matchups are going to be pretty interesting because, as you mentioned, all 4 of them using unique characters, and all of them are rather different styles, so we're going to see some very unique matchups throughout this event.
Yeah, for sure. And we definitely have a bit of a less aggressive roster from the looks of it from before. You know, we don't exactly have the Leo or the Chip from the previous tournament as well. So maybe some of these games will be a lot slower, maybe a little bit more methodical. Who knows?
That is a potential. We almost have everyone in the lobby, but I believe the first game of the day is going to be Harrow versus Ia. So it's going to be a Ram Lethal versus Mei, and unfortunately for Ia, this is a matchup that Harrow has been doing a lot of work with, going up against Henry, who one of the main practice partners. That it is going to be really hard for Ia to actually kind of catch him off guard, because Harrow has seen a lot of what Mei can bring to the table. But that's not to say that it's a doomed matchup. It is going to be tough either way, because Mei definitely has a lot of power behind her. She's just a really good character, and if Harrow isn't on the top of his game, can definitely get punished for a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I haven't seen a whole lot of Ram Lethal, and I don't think a lot of these other folks have either. You know, like when we talk about some of the characters that a lot of folks have been playing recently, it seems to be Saul is definitely up there. Folks have been playing Geo a whole lot, and then even amongst our own little play group here, you know, we don't really have a whole lot of
we have Harrow and we have Sword.
Harrow is actually the only Ram Lethal player.
Well, Sword does play Ram as well, so we have 2 of rather differing styles. So it's going to be interesting to see how it kind of deals with this matchup, because it is a matchup that, if you're not aware of, or if you're not too in tune with a lot of the ranges that Ram Lethal can kind of hit you at, she can definitely punish you a hell of a lot. So very interested to see how this one plays out. I think we just need Ian to click on the challenge. I think I'm just waiting in line. I think they need to just jump the queue. If they can just get... I think we're ready to go.
Okay. So we should be ready to go in just a little bit. It has been a while since... Oh, okay.
Oh, we're ready to go.
Okay, we fighting? Alrighty.
There we go. We're getting into game number 1. Yep. And each match is going to be a best of 5, so there's a lot of opportunity for adaptation and discovery of the particular matchup. And a lot of the time it comes down to not so much the character matchup, but the player matchup, because reading people's tendencies, understanding what they want to do, the way in which they want to approach, especially with a matchup like this where Ram can contest a lot of the mid-range spaces. Being able to read your opponent the way they want to approach can definitely go a hell of a long way.
All right, here we go. We got the first round underway. First round 1 of the tournament. Round 1 of the match. Let's get this underway.
Alrighty, so already we're seeing some good pressure out on both sides, just trying to kind of get a feel for how each other are going to be playing. A good anti-air there coming out of here, just stuffing Ian's approach from the sky, and now with the Ram in the corner, can be a little bit awkward, but able to get themselves out, run up immediately into the grab. Nicely done, but good burst to stop any further pressure coming out of the Ram lethal.
Yeah, so talk to us about this this Ram lethal matchup here. Like, what is Ram looking for against the Mei? Like, it looks like she has a lot longer rages than Mei. Like, maybe does she want to play a distance game here?
Oh yeah, and really nicely done. Just getting the Mei into the corner. Just most of the time, Ram Lethal is looking to get those first big hits, and then just chain them together. They have some very explosive combos, wanting to ideally send them through the wall, get a lot of extra damage through that, and also getting a lot of extra resources from that, and keeping them in the corner with a lot of this pressure as the Mei is trying to get out, but all of these swords being thrown right into him and exploding on the wall as well makes it very tough to try and find a way out, but Ia has done a great job of managing to do that. But ooh, that big 2H was just a little bit out of range and was punished for it, but both of them were very low. Good. RC doesn't end up getting the follow-up on that. Does end up blocking the counteraction though.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, the Mei has been on top of these Dolphins here, and it hasn't got really the ability to actually approach kind of towards the end there, once Ram was kind of like in the corner and not really able to go anywhere. Once the tempo was in her favor, Ia was able to turn the match around, but we'll have to see if this turns out more, which is already starting to happen here.
Yeah, it's good.
It's already making a good use of this kind of close pressure that she's able to put on Ram here. Oh my God, these Dolphins are coming out of everywhere. Yeah, and great anti-air, and that nice XP, just stuffing any kind of aerial approach there coming out of it, and then very low, one good hit, and that's going to do it. Just sends him to the brink, and that is going to be the first game of this going over to Aeon. It looked a little bit rough in that first round, but as I was saying, once you get a bit of a feel for how your opponent wants to be trying to approach, especially from the air, and like both players have these tools to just stuff those aerial approaches if they're anticipating them. And we'll have to see how Harrow adapts throughout the rest of this series. You know, they're doing a great job in this first one. All the burst comes out, it's an empty burst, doesn't get too much out of it, and they are stuck in this corner for a little bit longer. Oh, Dolphin tried to come out, but just gets slammed with this sword straight into the corner yet again. But now they're starting to make their way out. And as I say that, that's probably going to be the round as they just go in with the jumping punches for infinite amount of punches, I guess, with the Ram Lethal for the wall break. Yeah, it just seemed like Ia was just having a hard time just kind of getting out of that corner here. It seems like the matchup between these two is just who can get who into the corner first, and then who can maintain control while in there. So, you know, as we're in another, you know, match where Mei is now pushing Ia into or pushing Ram Lethal into the corner here. Now, yeah, once again, boom.
And there it is. And that's one of the really dangerous things against Ram Lethal. If you mess up the blocking even slightly when you're in that corner, oh, this is going to be dangerous. Here comes Mr. Well, and the counter damage on that was incredible. But yeah, if you're in the corner against the Ram Lethal, it is incredibly dangerous. You mess up your block or your timing even slightly, you're going through that wall, no questions asked. There's so many ways for a Ram to send you through the wall, as we're getting a little bit of... Oh, yeah, should be good.
It looks like we're back in it. We're good. We're good. Question mark. Okay, we're back in it. All right. Yeah. All right. So once again, Mei laying on the pressure here. These Dolphins are real good and come out real fast too. So, you know, Harrow's definitely gonna have to has been watching out for them, but Mei has been getting so much good pressure with these kind of like short range fast attacks.
Yeah, both swords being thrown to the other end of the room, so Harrow has to be a little bit careful about how they play the next few seconds as they finally get them back. Trying to play it very cautiously. All baits out the burst, gets the extra damage and blows them up on the wall, but doesn't actually get the finishing blow. So now they are without their swords. It has to be very careful. The Dolphin damage, the chip damage was going to be enough. They had to try and make a move, and that is going to be the second game going over to Ear as well. Nicely done. Unfortunate for Harrow that they ended up dropping that combo towards the end there. But yeah, it's been incredibly close every single time. So interested to see how this develops further and what kind of adaptations Harrow's going to be using. Try and maybe play a little bit slower, wait for the approaches, and just going with those punish kind of playstyle, because that seemed to be working out quite well for him.
Yeah, and it seems to be working out quite well for him. Again, he's just countering these all of these approaches that Mei has been trying to do, and really has only taken damage until right now. So I'll have to see if he'll be able to keep up that tempo, but it looks like he's lost it here as Mei is now trying to put a lot more pressure onto Harrow here.
Yeah, just training back priority, I guess, at this state of the game. Oh, good hit. Just getting those stray hits is definitely working out well for Io. There's a good grab into the corner, and without burst, that should be the kill.
Yeah, good use of Roman cancel there. The combo is still going through the wall. That slash.
Very nicely done. And yeah, it seems like Harrow has started to become a little bit more patient, not hastily dashing in with those air slashes that he was honestly getting punished quite a bit for. And so not really getting caught out by those nearly as much. All those records coming in, gets punished for that one. They are not all that safe, especially when you're not hitting them onto a block.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely looking like Harrow is starting to use just a little bit more of a counter game here, just letting Mei come to him and then using these big swords, this kind of range advantage that Ram Lethal has over Mei in order to get these good combos. The Roman cancel is good as well. And now up against the wall, that's a whole lot of damage. Is that it? The last bit they need. He is on that
little bit more damage.
Can they turn around? Mr. Whale!
Oh, gets him just out of it just before the whale came in, because that would have been a hell of a lot of counter hit damage. So really nicely done. It is now 2-1. Yes, Ram has a puppy. Ram has a puppy.
Oh,
that's
good.
always one of the things that, from the start of the game, as soon as Stripe came out, we're just like, well, I guess it's not as bad losing to Ram because we get to see a puppy.
Yeah.
Whereas at the very start of this, he is on. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, but good run-up throw there from him.
Yeah, has been. This is what's good about a best of 5, especially if you have the ability to do it in a tournament format, especially in the lower rounds. You get people the ability to adapt to how other folks are playing. As oh my god, do you ever just wake up super? Mr. Whale comes around. Oh no.
Oh, good blocking.
Pressing buttons? Okay, not this time.
Good blocking on both sides. So that's super for Aegis. Ended up spending a lot of meter getting that faultless defense, so they weren't taking any chip damage from that. Oh, just slamming each other with these big, heavy weapons, but a good counter hit. And we're pretty much at even with this stage. Good RC. Are they able to finish it off? A lot of damage.
Yeah, they dropped the combo.
That's gonna
they might
do
be
it.
able to. There we go.
It was a little bit, it was close, but they got it in the end there, yeah.
We're definitely seeing a lot more defensive game from these two. We saw them like really trying to make sure that they could get in on the opponent here. There's a whole lot of jumping, looking for just an avenue here, but you know, this round 2 is definitely looking a lot more aggressive, very similar to what we've been seeing as now Ia is falling a little bit on the back foot here, taking a whole lot of pressure from Harrow, really being able to find that damage that she's looking for.
Oh, using the RC to make it much safer, but that does also bait out the burst as well, so nicely done there from Harrow. So they have they're in a pretty decent position. There's a lot of meter on the side for EL, whether or not they're going to be able to use it. Good the backdash, and this incredible pressure. Harrow is working their way back out of it. Good RC, and they should be able to finish this. Oh, just a little bit too... Oh, the RC! It didn't end up working out as that third record just slammed right on top of her head and evens it up. 2 apiece. We're going into the final game. This is what I love about Best of 5 series.
Yeah, this is definitely looking to be a very good series. You know, Io was looking to clean it up pretty cleanly, and now we're on a game 5. We're looking like a reverse sweep here. So,
ooh, empty burst. Not going to be happy with that one.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but Harrow's having a real hard time punishing these dolphins here. He gets the good throw, trying to do a little bit more damage in this corner, gets a good combo, but is immediately bashed away here. So he is definitely looking for a little bit more control. That 6P once again comes out real fast. Definitely
it's real good.
Option half the time.
The good button. Ooh. really low here for Harrow. Here comes the yellow RC to get him right back into the corner. They do not want to let them out of him. Just a good old run-up throw is what's on the docket for Harrow here. It is very close both sides. Harrow definitely does have enough meter for another RC or anything at this point. But has to be very careful because there was a lot of chip damage being just whittled away towards the end there and just wasn't able to find that avenue in. But this is potentially the last round here for Harrow in the upper bracket. One more round win and EA will make their way into the upper bracket final. And they look pretty good. They're mixing up their pressure, their timing, and they're not letting themselves get hit by a lot of these counter hits as much as they have been in those previous two games. But good throw pressure, gets them still in the corner, counter hit, and forces out the burst again.
Yeah, I do like this adaptation that that EA has been doing, because Harrow has been looking for a lot of jumping overheads in order to get over these dolphins here. So a lot of the times May kind of baiting it out and going for an overhead, but here comes the big boy, the big pink whale. They can't quite find the damage though. Mr. Whale can't find the win this time, but May is still doing a whole lot of damage here. The mix-up game is doing very, very well. Ram Lethal is incredibly low. That's going to be the match. That's going to be the round, sorry.
That is actually going to be the match, because that is 3-2. Yeah.
Holy moly.
That was incredible pressure there.
I saw them win the round, and then a heart disappeared from the top, and I thought it was one being taken away, but it was one that already lost. But that is round one, going over to EA. EA advancing on with their May. That was real good.
Yeah, we saw in those middle games where we saw Harrow really starting to punish a lot of the plays that EA was trying to make. And then in that last game, we just saw really good tempered aggression there from EA. The backdashes to try and get out of those counter hit ranges from the Ram Lethal, and then just poking and prodding when they found those little opportunities, and it just racked up incredibly well, and they were able to keep them up, just keep Harrow in that corner, and made it incredibly tough for them to kind of make their way out of it, and it was really nicely done there.
Yeah, and I really hats off to EA as well, because she was adapting to Harrow's options really well. Harrow was definitely using, like we said in that last round there, was using that kind of jumping overhead attack in order to counter these low dolphins that EA was using a whole lot, but adapting and starting to bait out that kind of option to use the overhead dolphin, or even jumping attack, or getting or forcing them to use a bad option, or use an option that's bad on block. Real good job, real good job by EA there, for sure.
All right, let me.
Does she have a zebra lower? Does she have a zebra lower half? Does Draco have a zebra lower half? Is that what's up right now? Oh my god.
You love to see it. All right, coming into our next game, it is going to be Kiwi going up against Xanorath, Draco, who both of them were in the previous tournament. Kiwi taking the whole thing with their Faust. Interested to see how Draco plays it this time around with their Kai.
Yeah, Draco has been practicing real hard. I was watching them play the other day, so they've definitely been getting a whole lot better, been climbing that tower as well. But you know, I always talk about Kai just having a decent mid-range game, but once you're at kind of mid-range, it's kind of hard to fight against Faust, right? Because Faust definitely has a really good long-range game.
Oh yeah, definitely can command a lot of space with some of those longer range buttons. And oh, here comes the bomb. They do end up blocking that, but really nice pressure here coming out from Draco, just putting them into the corner. Oh, here comes blocks the attempted super. No wheelchair for them, as a good dust follow-up is going to get them the first round.
Ooh. I see Arc Systems took a note from the dramatic finishes of Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Fighters and gave us these cool things to happen during the game as well. Yes. Real cool.
Yeah, really nicely done. Just navigating a lot of the kind of awkward hitboxes that Faust can throw around, and getting in there and doing a decent amount of damage. But now we're seeing it is now time for Kiwi to start getting some mixing going with a lot of their buttons in the corner, but now they are just going to get turned around on, and that is going to be the wall splat. A lot of damage coming out from this Kai, and they are going to be in a pretty good position for the rest of this. Oh, just jumps right into the paper bag. He's just called love. I think that's the move.
Yeah, using that Roman cancel in order to get on the other side of Faust while he was comboed in the air was really smart by Draco here. And the bomb lands on this Faust, and that actually leads Draco to win this first round of the match here. Really good stuff coming out from Draco so far.
Yeah, really nice situational awareness to recognize that the bomb had ended up doing a lot of damage to Kiwi and just needed that little bit of extra to finish them off as here comes the meteors.
My God.
Not
I've actually never seen that.
the meteors, yeah.
Yeah,
They could be incredibly nasty. They break guard, and if you're not careful, they will do a lot of damage. Oh, baits out an empty burst and gets a couple of extra of those just big ol' uppercuts. Does end up missing the dust.
Yeah, I was right about to ask if we were in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That was a lot of up tilts.
Yeah.
I was a little confused there for a moment. But it's definitely a decent chunk of damage. I mean, if you're able to get away with it, I mean, I think just go for it, right? There's a Roman cancel coming out. This looks like Kai has a little bit of tempo in their favor, getting a decent chunk of tip damage here, but Draco is on the downside here. The Sriracha and the fishing pole.
The big old scalpel just hands it to him. Oh, good, walking up and just hitting them out of that big old heavy slash.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah,
good. See, good extra damage, and this is just incredibly dominant round here coming out from Draco.
Yeah, Draco's been practicing a whole lot on the Kai and basically been doing very well too. And this is it paying off, right? This Faust matchup, he probably Draco was probably playing with Norcho a whole lot, so trying to learn Faust is really hard. And even like Kiwi said in the previous tournament, a lot of Faust players play very differently. So it's good to see Draco just adapt and win these matchups very handily.
Yeah, doing really nicely down there. Good throw to finish that one off. Let's see how this round 3 is going to go. It's just trying to jockey for position because, as we're seeing, the Faust can command a lot of space from a distance, and if they want to start going in, they have those teleports to really just try and catch someone off guard. But once we see Draco get into that close space, good counter hit there and able to follow up with a lot of damage. And Kiwi is still a fair way away from having a burst up again, so if they end up taking a counter hit, they are going to be copying a lot of extra damage that they just have to take, which is going to be very dangerous. Good, just run up and throw. Just haven't really seen that from Kiwi as of yet, so really nice to just catch him off guard, but does bait out the burst. Good, just walking up, just slamming it because starting to catch on to the fact that Kiwi wants to be in that top corner, throwing out some of those items, and Draco's starting to catch on to that, punishes him and takes that second game, going up 2-0 in this.
And Draco says, if you want to be in that corner, cool, yeah, I'll deliver you over there myself, and takes the round for themselves. So now they are up 2-0 over Kiwi here, but we have seen Kiwi in the past just lose round 1, even if it is rather one-sided, and then come back for a devastating blow through the losers bracket. So we'll have to see how Kiwi does for the rest of the tournament if they fall here.
And that's to say that, well, we're not even sure how this one's going to go, because we could even see a comeback. We saw a game 5 in the previous set after it was looking pretty doomed for a little bit, but both of them getting interrupted by that bomb. Doesn't get hit by the thrust towards by the thrust follow-up, so both quite low, have a lot of resources to work with, but just walking right underneath the love and just trying to catch them out with that. Ooh, good counter hit there from Xanarath, and the Sriracha is going to come out and just try and stall them from making their approaches, but just the run-up DP is going to get them this next round, and one more round, and it is going to be a clean 3-0 coming in for Draco, but it's not over yet. Kiwi still has a lot to work with, and that mix is really kind of awkward to deal with because it can cross up depending on how high and where they start that from. So really nice job there, and we're seeing this damage start to rack up. Even the banana getting in on the action to try and help continue that combo string, but Draco not deterred from any of this. Oh, gonna get hit with the overhead there.
Yeah.
Now
It's just looking like Draco's just trying to bait Kiwi into doing a lot of these aerial attacks so that they can start with these kind of upwards attacks here. But yeah,
Draco's gonna be pretty happy.
This round been working out pretty well so far, but it looks like Kiwi is starting to change up their game here as now the rest.
But even though that round did go over to Kiwi, Dragon's gonna be pretty happy with how that ended, just forcing out that burst very early, well, in a round that was pretty lost at that stage. So getting the resources out of your opponent when it was like they needed to use it, otherwise, you're pretty happy to see that as they're able to just apply pressure now. And we see, because the burst was used in that previous round, this can happen. All of this damage sends it through the wall, and so much damage coming out of this Kai, and just a little bit more. We see the chip damage might come into effect as a little bit more is going to take it. And oh, the big overhead slam is going to take it, and that is going to be a rather commanding 3-0 coming out of Xanareth. Really nicely done.
Yeah, Draco's been doing a real good job practicing this Kai recently, as we said before. So it's really cool to see the improvements here. But you know, we can't count Kiwi out yet. Like we said, Kiwi just sometimes just runs straight through the losers bracket on a pretty commanding way too. So we'll have to see how they play up against Harrow in just a moment.
Yeah, that was actually what happened in the previous tournament. In the first round, ended up going down to the Giovanna at that point, and then from the loser bracket, just ran through the entire tournament. So yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibilities, but we have 3 other very strong players. So I'm not sure if we're going to be doing the upper bracket or the lower bracket first. We'll get confirmation and then we'll see.
Okay. All right. So it looks like we're going to have Harrow versus Draco. It should be. Yes?
Ea versus Draco.
Eo versus Draco.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Let's make it control.
Yeah. But yeah, should be an interesting matchup. Draco, I believe, is another person who is really practiced on this Mel matchup here, or May matchup here rather. Yeah.
Give me 1 second so I can actually. Why is my controller not working?
Wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, we have May versus Kai, and this is to be pretty exciting here. I think Draco is definitely very practiced. Vesli has been doing very well, and I have not seen this map.
This is a pretty good one.
This is a oh my god. Oh.
There's a lot going on in this one, but anyway, as we're getting into this game.
I'm so sorry.
Good opening here from Draco, forcing out the burst. But we're getting some good counter hit. Trying to get out of this corner pressure is that's a lot of damage already, knocking Draco down pretty low. But they still have their burst and a lot of resources, or some resources to work with, but are forced into the corner. And a good throw is just going to end that. Just caught them trying to block in that corner out of all that pressure. But it's not going to work out for them, as Ea is going to be able to take that first round. As we start this second round with a lot of aggression coming out of Xanareth in the opposite corner as well. So the pressure goes both ways, and there's a lot of damage potential coming out of both of these characters.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Draco has a lot of options to really pressure that long range dolphin attack there, because after block it puts May pretty far out of Draco's sword range here. So you really got to get your timings right, and it looks like they did, as they got them into the wall. That's going to be the wall shatter. Can they get the last bit of damage that they need? They're both really close. That projectiles were good. There's a great
good
slash. Can they find another? That's a good
Oh.
second, but there's a super lightning sword.
That is the best way to punish an empty burst. Just slam him with a super right into that wall. Really nicely done.
Yeah, well, let's see if Draco's able to keep up that momentum here. But once again, Ia has been getting very good at pressuring folks who try to jump over the Dolphin, bait them into thinking that they're going to keep doing it, and then use that overhead one. And that's been proving real great here. As Ia might actually get a perfect here.
Oh, that was an incredible round. Just pressure unrelenting there from Air. And yeah, that's going to be game one going over to Air and then Mei, who is... We'll say they have been leveling up, and we're definitely seeing the results of that right now. They are just absolutely just dominating the competition right here today.
Yeah, they're doing real well, but it looks like Draco has gotten the idea that maybe they need to be a little bit more aggressive here as they put on a bit of the early pressure here. But once again, Mei, these Dolphins are very, very strong, and if you're looking to beat them like Draco is doing, you're going to end up taking a whole lot of damage before you're able to see the fruits of your labors. So definitely getting something good here. Mr. Whale comes down, and they might have caught Draco pressing buttons, but it looks like they haven't this time. There's still a little bit of health left on the Mei. There's a Roman cancel looking to extend the combo here. Good upward slash. There's the kick. Can they get through the wall? Yes, but they're still not dead yet. That's still a pretty decent combo, though. They need the last bit of damage. Perhaps they can get it through a projectile, but now they're up against the wall. Gonna be really hard. There's the overhead Dolphin. Still can't quite find the chip damage is good.
Ooh,
But
good
the upward
DP.
slash is better. Kai's gonna pick up that round.
Yeah, really nicely done there. And it's starting to see a little bit more patience. Because that's essentially how a lot of Mei matchups end up having to go. You have to be ready to just weather the storm of Dolphins. Because what we were seeing from a lot of these matchups is that one counter hit leads to so much damage, and the combos are just going to rack up. That's a lot of damage, just slamming them straight through that wall. Alright, that was a very quick rebuttal there from Air.
I was about to ask if Dolphin Storm was the unofficial sequel to Shark Tornado, to Sharknado. It's clearly
It
that's
might
the
as well be, yeah.
Tropical Storm Dolphin.
I'm sure the jokes have been made. Really nice DP there from Draco just to interrupt any attempt at forcing them away. Again, just applying the pressure with that DP, just really nicely done. Just trying to keep them stuck in this corner with this shock state, trying to really rack up the damage, but yeah, able to get out thanks to some more Dolphins of their own. But now the tables have been turned, and now Draco is the one who has to just weather all of this pressure. Not able to finish up on a lot of that combo. It wasn't the combo counter damage, but a good throw allows them to just keep the pressure going and finish them off. Again, 2-0 to Ia already in this upper bracket final.
Yeah, and it's looking pretty strong too. She's been doing very, very well, and getting that kind of flip flop into the corner there is definitely very, very gives Mei that opportunity to really shine here, because you know, like we said, like there's a lot of pretty safe options for block for Mei, especially with those Dolphins putting them pretty far away from Kai's sword. So being able to constantly pressure in that corner, very, very strong. As now outside the corner, Mei is not having the greatest of time, especially with Draco getting wise to a lot of these Dolphin attacks here.
Oh, ends up jumping right over them and forces himself into the corner. Good RC, trying to get as much damage as possible. Ends up dropping it, but they are still in a reasonable position. Using the... Oh, a big kick is going to allow them to keep the combo going. And that is going to be that round going over to Draco. Yeah, as you mentioned, just once the Mei is in open space, they're able to just completely run the show. But forced into a corner, it can be a little bit awkward. And it seems like they're quite reliant on using those Dolphins to just reposition themselves. But right now, they are in a pretty damn good spot. Good jump over the throw, but ends up getting tagged by another move just out immediately, and just going to get sent through the wall. And yet again, another quick rebuttal coming out from Air, and sets up match point for themselves. So it's a pretty quick matchup, this one, it seems.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, Ia's been getting very, very good and kind of wise to all these kind of aerial counterattacks that folks have been looking for to really get over some of these low and medium hits that Ia has been going for, but really being able to punish folks who've been jumping over Mei has been very, very good in both of the matches that Ia has been playing.
Yeah, alright. See how Draco is going to try and approach this, just run up throw yet again, and without any burst, this is going to be a decent chunk of damage right in the corner, and this is going to be a little bit awkward for Draco to try and make their way out of it. Run up throw yet again, and it's not going to be much more before it is just going to be game, and that's it. I think Draco was trying to bring out the super, but ends up just getting clipped with some buttons, and that is going to be a 3-0 for Ia. Really, really good pressure there coming out from May.
Yeah, Ia definitely has been leveling up for sure, and we see the fruits of their labors here. You know, we've been gone for about a month, and you know, here we are once again, and the Super Saiyans have really trained for the Cell games here, as we now have to have Harrow versus Kiwi here, right? Yeah,
I believe that will be the next matchup.
No one can see it, but I'm putting my hand over the like the side of the headphone. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
We're getting news from the field.
We're getting news from the field. I mean, it is sometimes like I do visual gags, realizing that I'm not on camera, and then have to explain to people.
There's a visual gag going on. Please.
Yeah,
please understand.
Like you use the quotation marks with your fingers, and then you have to say in quotation marks, and you're like, no, come on. But we do have a Faust versus a Ram Lethal here, so this is going to be an interesting match. These are two characters that command a lot of space and look for those kind of like longer range engagements, I can say. But this is certainly going to be interesting. In terms of like a range game, do you think it's just Faust every time?
Ram definitely commands a lot of that good mid-range space, but we'll have to see how Kiwi wants to play it. We've seen him play it very, very aggressive right now. Just wanted to kind of just play almost a close game, a close range game using Faust, because it is possible. They can do it. They do have some reasonable close range buttons. They're not necessarily the best compared to a lot of the rest of the cast, but in this particular matchup, it seems like it could work out for them. But so far, we're seeing this big Ram damage come out. We'll have to see how things play from mid to long range. As yeah, I think that's definitely a space that Harrow will definitely want to be playing from, as we do get the RC. It doesn't end up getting the follow-up on all of that, as we do have the counter hit coming out. Good grab, but the lads are coming through. It seemed like it was Kiwi that ended up picking that one up. The burst has to get called out, but I think the Faust is a little bit too high up on this one, and it's even going to use the mix to get out of there and onto the other side, and they are going to get that first round.
Yeah, they do say the way to counter the Kamehameha wave is just to get behind Goku, so that's that's how Faust is going to claim round one here, but immediately, Harrow's immediately putting on the pressure here, really trying to get that good damage while he can, because it just looks like Kiwi just wants to play the real long range game before he even wants to get close to Ram here. Doesn't want to pull any punches in that medium range here, definitely wants to get real close. So let's see how they're able to do it here. Good throw, trying to give them a little bit more pressure for themselves here. Okay,
that is one thing about
cancel.
That is one thing about Faust, that one of the awkward things about some of his buttons is that is very vulnerable to 6B with a lot of the longer range buttons. As we see, once the Ram has you in the corner, it can be pretty rough. A lot of those setups can be pretty rough to deal with, and if you drop it even a little bit, you're going to take an awful lot of damage. As we see it right there, drop the block for just a little bit, and then all these punches are going to send Kiwi straight through that wall. As that's going to be a pretty hefty deficit coming in. A great air throw, just calling him out right away there, and again able to get a little bit of extra damage onto him thanks to those swords jumping into the wall and the RC to finish this one off, and that's going to be game one going over to Harrow.
Yeah, it's taking up a pretty commanding lead already, and look at that, we get a puppy. Wonderful.
All right, now coming into game two.
Yeah,
it is
yeah, go ahead.
Like, I'm just interested to see how Kiwi tries to adapt, because we saw him at the very start of round one wanting to play very aggressive in your face, as we see a pretty decent burst. A lot of Ram Lethal's combos can be pretty burst safe, but able to find that one little opportunity to make it work for themselves. So really nicely done. A good RC, trying to get the switch up, get him right back into the corner, and doesn't end up getting the complete the wall break, the wall splat. They are able to keep this pressure going on, but ends up missing the grab. But now we'll have to see how we play for mid-screen yet again.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Harrow's just trying to force Faust into the corner here, because I think Ram, they both might not be close range characters, but I feel like Ram's close range is going to be better than Faust's.
A lot of her buttons are just really good in general. They're very meaty, but these swords are just really good, like from that mid range, and we're seeing it right there. Just slender them into that wall, just following up with some pretty stock standard combos when it comes to some Ram lethal tech. But now we have to see how it is. Whenever Faust goes all the way into the sky like that, it feels like it can be a little bit awkward for a lot of characters who don't necessarily have those high-reaching moves. And we're starting to see that a little bit. We saw the air grab come out earlier from Harrow, but beyond that, haven't been able to see too much contesting of that aerial space coming out from Harrow.
Yeah, Harrow does have a whole lot of resources in his pocket here if he wants to look for something to get through to the Faust. Uses that burst there, uses half the meter here, but now that's going to be the round over, and that burst really wasn't able to do anything. It was about half meter here and doesn't have access to that burst.
Yeah, unfortunately, for I think the second time, Harrow has tried to utilize the pressure of those swords in the wall to try and get a throw off from Kiwi in the corner, but the block stun just made it so the grabs end up whiffing, unfortunately. So he's try and find other ways to keep that pressure applied, but we're seeing some pretty good spacing here with these big, hefty swords, and we're not seeing nearly as many items coming out from Kiwi this game.
Yeah, it
and
looks
I
like
think
he was
getting punished a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, he was looking for something but couldn't quite find it. So round one is going over to Harrow, and I agree with you, definitely a little confusing. Didn't see a whole lot of items from the Kiwi here.
I believe that's game 2, so 2-0 up in this series so far, and one more, and that's going to do it for Kiwi. So they, actually an empty burst really high up on the screen. That is not going to be what you wanted. We'll have to see how the rest of this plays out. Those wreckers coming through, not able to get the third one to connect, but able to keep, just trying to keep Kiwi into this corner. Ends up dropping the block to try and make a move. As the mix comes through, the hammer isn't going to end up landing, but we see a good conversion there coming out from Kiwi. And that should do it for the round. Just the big old fishing hook into the golf club is going to secure that round.
Yeah, it was definitely a real good combo there between getting Harrow a little bit off their tempo there, then getting in that throw, throwing them off just a little bit. Now we once again Ram lethal into the corner here.
Yeah, but we're seeing some good good defensive play coming out from Kiwi, just forcing their way back out of the corner. But now we're seeing Harrow get some good pressure coming out through, and damage output as well. 6B coming out from Kiwi. Wasn't punished the first time and managed to get it to work out the second time. Is starting to see that counter damage really start to rack up. Good throw in the corner, and with this RC, they could force him through the wall yet again. They will do so.
Yeah, still doesn't have that last bit of damage that they're looking for, but Ram's attacks are real meaty, so that could be one, maybe two. There's one! They got the magic pixel. Faust has barely any HP left, but that's a lot.
That's a lot of items, but I think you're just going to cop it. Red Lethal's looking at Faust over at the other corner of the screen. He's like, that's a lot of items. How about a laser straight down? Straight at you.
All right, round 3.
You just got to hit him with it.
Let's go. And right off the bat, there's a whole bunch of damage right off the bat.
Sometimes you just got to hit him with that big old meaty attack, just to let him know you have it. And we're seeing the corner pressure, the corner damage, and there we see it Faust through the wall yet again. This is the last chance for Kiwi. If they want to stay alive in this tournament, they need to win this round, win this game, and keep this series alive. But so far, it's looking like Harrow is just looking a little bit too good right now, and they are going to be able to counter hit them out of the mix. And the lights take them away. And, then, and that is going to be the 3-0 coming out for Harrow.
Let's go.
Really nicely done. And a lot of that matchup is just navigating these weird hitboxes and the RNG of Faust and his items. And it worked out in the long run. Just once the pressure was starting to get applied and Kiwi was forced into the corner, you need to make the right decision every single time, or you are going through a wall. And we saw that, unfortunately, not come through when Kiwi needed it. And unfortunately, it got sent to the wall an awful lot of times, and that damage definitely racks up when it's a Ram doing it to you.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, we saw a lot of adaptation there. You know, I think Kiwi almost always took that overhead option with the Scarecrows and was looking for even the left and right. But I think Harrow just did a very good job of wisening up to a lot of these attacks. I think the reason why a lot of folks in our little play group that we have are good against the Faust matchup is because the person who plays him is always like explaining how to beat him. Like, he'll win and then just be like, oh yeah, well this attack that I do that you keep blocking and not punishing is bad on block, and you need to like really just kind of pressure me there after you block it, or something like that. Like, he's always looking to explain how to beat the things that he was doing in the game. So a lot of these folks really studied on that Faust matchup.
Yeah, we've been given pretty much a crash course on a lot of Faust's buttons. Did they get into the game before we were able to get into spectate? So we're gonna have to ask them to kind of.
We're gonna wait just a little bit before we get into our game here, but this is
Draco versus Harrow. They were very eager to get into this game, and I don't blame them. It's been a good old time, and I'm interested to see how this matchup plays out because, again, it's somewhat similar to. Actually, it's not even remotely similar to May. Similar to some of the other matchups where Ram Lethal just has this good mid-range coverage, and it's a lot of the time on the opponent to try and find their way in and around some of Ram's buttons. And yeah, Kaya does have some options when it comes to long range with the lightning bolts, and also able to contest some of those longer range buttons with the DP and 6P and all that kind of stuff. But once if Kaya's put into the corner, they do have some options trying to get out of it. We've seen the DP come out on Wake Up, which has helped them against. It worked against Kiwi, it worked against Air to a little extent, but not extensively. We'll see how it works out if they're put into the corner. All right, let me see. Let me just get ready for. Yep, we just gotta wait for them to at least one of them to get onto the setup so we can spectate.
Now a little bit of technical
Spectate.
Spectate.
All right, we're good. I think we're good.
Okay. So round one did go over to Draco. We weren't able to witness it, but maybe we'll be witnessing 3 rounds in in compensation. But let's see what we're able to do here, as we are 1-0. Draco's up on the Kai, and Harrow is down on the Ram Lethal. Let's get into this match. Is right off the bat. Draco already punishing these overhead options and doing a lot. Oh my god.
Good.
Oh,
good dust.
Man, I have never seen that.
Yeah, the follow-up dust combos are really cool and very often baits out a burst at the very least. Really good wherewithal from Draco to expect the burst and get some follow-up damage. We'll see how much they're able to get even more out of it. Just force them right into the corner and then just gets their legs right out from under them. We're seeing this damage coming out from Kai. It is nothing to sneeze at. It will rack up incredibly quickly, especially with that shock state. And if you're not careful, you're just going to take an immense amount of damage. Good run-up grab, able to get their sword back and get this pressure continuing in the corner. But these swords aren't going to just come back to them as freely. But they do force themselves back in the corner just so they can get their swords back and try and get back to a more neutral state as they manage to get themselves out of the corner. But we're seeing some good pressure coming out from Reiko as they force Hera back into the corner. Good combo damage, puts him into the wall. DP to send him through as well. Just a little bit more is going to be enough to finish things off. Good counter hit there coming out from Hera.
Yeah, try to use a bit of that Roman cancel there to try to get through, but Draco is just applying the pressure back and forth. This is game 2 going over to Draco.
Yeah, just finding opportunities to just sneak in some of those Kai hitboxes, which can be a little bit rough to deal with if you're not entirely prepared for it. But this pressure very good as Hera is able to get the way out of the corner and start applying pressure on themselves, but the burst says no to that, and that was what I was talking about. The DP to stuff some of those approaches coming out from Hera on this Ram Lethal, but we're now seeing the shoe on the other foot. Doesn't get the follow-up there on that RC, unfortunately. It's a little bit too hasty and forces out the burst. Just a few kicks to the feet. Ooh, the swords are now on the other side of the map, and this is a really unfortunate situation here for Hera as Draco is just going to just apply so much pressure. And even though it didn't get the wall break, just use that opportunity to just set up an even stronger punish.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to be careful about when you're throwing out these swords as Ram Lethal here. They do a lot of damage. They definitely put out a lot of pressure, cover a lot of ground, but you do need those swords in order to use your attacks here. I don't think Ram's punches are going to be as long range as those big swords, so it'd be really hard to do this. Once again, they're getting
here we
really
go.
good combos here. That's going to shatter Kai through the glass here, and now they're taking over. That's a great Roman cancel. Let's see if they're able to turn this around, maybe close out this round. There's a good throw. That's
there it is.
Hero picking up this round 1 in game 3.
That's exactly what they wanted. That's essentially what they've been wanting this entire time, just finding those good counter hit opportunities and just translating that into so much damage, getting those wall breaks. Oh, big slam overhead there with the final record there, forcing out the burst, but now we're back to a more neutral state, and we'll see how he's going to be able to get through again over the top of that slash, and they're able to force Draco back into this corner, see how this one plays out. But here comes the super, and that is going to catch him. And that's going to be that sword on the other side of the map, but it is coming back to him. Oh, even forces out the burst, but just a little bit more is going to do it. There's a lot of meter on the side of Harrow as they are going to let it rip and see how this works out. Straight through the projectile, and that is going to secure them their game, and that is going to be a 2-1 now in favor still of Zatarath. One more needed, but that's a good rebuttal there coming out from Hera as we I think we might be getting guilty geared.
Yeah, we might be getting guilty geared here as all right, so we're gonna have a little break before we get into round 3 here.
I think it just like punted spectators, unfortunately. So we can see like the health bars on the, so we can kind of just guess what's going on from what we see on the health bars there, and it looks like a pretty solid start coming up from Hera, but Draco is able to definitely turn it around, and it feels like once the Ram Lethal is put into the defensive, can struggle a little bit, but if they're able to maintain control of the round and the ranges and force the pace of the game, they are definitely pretty tough to combat. But it is really close, it seems, in this first round. I'm not sure who it is going to end up going to. Oh, that was a big ultra damage, and that is actually that first round going over to Draco. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, we're not able to see it, but we'll see how this one.
I mean, we make do with what we got, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh, geez, that's a lot of damage already.
So I was going to say that I think it was just very smart at the end of the previous round that we were able to watch there, just of Harrow just really reading through Draco's, forcing Harrow to jump there and just raw supering after the projectile. Really, really smart adaptation there. But you know, it does seem like these adaptations are working as well as for Harrow as they might think here, as they might be losing off this round with just a magic pixel left. Maybe they can turn it around.
It is just a magic pixel, and they're starting to make some headway. It's all it's going to take is just a little bit. Yeah, that's going to do it, unfortunately, and it looks like that's going to be a 3-1 in favor of Draco, unless I. It didn't get us into the game, unfortunately. Well, sometimes this just happens. But it was, from what we were able to see, it was a very fun matchup to watch. Because, like, we saw Draco just absolutely command a lot of presence, and trying to react to a lot of Kai's options, it can be pretty rough. If you don't have fast enough buttons or good enough range to, and both, to be quite honest, to deal with some of what Kai's trying to bring to the table. And yeah, Ram definitely has the range. Some of her longer range buttons aren't necessarily as fast, so there are opportunities for Kai to essentially punish a lot of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just really hard that like I feel like a lot of Kai's buttons are just a little bit faster, especially at these closer ranges. So when those opportunities happen, Draco has just such a better way of breaking through, being stuck in a corner, or even just pressuring a lot of Ram Lethal's kind of things here. Options.
And that looks like it is going to be. Whoop, let me just get back into spectate. It is going to be in the grand final. It's going to be a rematch between Ia and also. Oh, are they not? Oh, spectate. Spectate. Oh.
Here we go to spectate.
quick. All right, it's going to be Ia going up against.
Very stressful.
Because people just want to press buttons, and just by mashing buttons, you're just like auto ready up.
Yeah.
And it will just send you right into the game before people are ready. But we are getting into the grand final. It is going to be a rematch between Ia and Xanarath, the Mei versus the Kai. We're seeing already the burst being forced out. We're starting to see that they're trying to play a little bit more at a longer range, trying to utilize some of the long range abilities, utilizing the projectiles, and then trying to find some stray hits to try and capitalize off. But already it is getting some good damage in from stray hits of their own. The Dolphins coming through over the top. It's going to be pretty rough to deal with, and that risk meter is just going right up and increasing the amount of damage coming through there. 6B trying to go through that, but that is a big old bolt of electricity to try and punch through. It's not really going to work out too well. Good counter hit there, just interrupting the pressure coming out from Draco, but trying to get these combos to stick just didn't work out. Good RC into the 2H just to secure that first round.
Yeah, it was definitely very, very strong. I think, once again, Ia is doing a very good job at trying to pressure folks who think they've got the upper hand. It's like, haha, this person has thrown rock 3 times in a row. Certainly I shall throw paper this time and win. And then Ia throws scissors.
Gets him every time. Good old reliable rock.
Rock, scissors. Gets him every time.
Yeah. Seeing some good pressure coming out, and we do get the dust, the charged dust, and we get the big old follow-up from Draco. Just a little bit more damage. Projectile. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't 6B through a projectile, and that is going to be the rounds equalized, but big strong start, forcing out the burst with that counter hit. They just swinging haymakers at each other. Counter hit damage racking up on both sides. And Burst no longer on either of them. Didn't end up punishing that missed DP, and now Xanos is able to get the pressure into the corner yet again. Forces them back into it. They are trying to make their way out, uses the Dolphin to do so, but they're not able to really get behind Draco, and it is going to just go back to a neutral state. Dolphins on deck.
Yeah, Draco's been doing a real good projectile game, but let's see if May caught him pressing buttons.
Ooh.
Oh, looks like, yeah, that's gonna be caught pressing buttons.
That was the projectile coming out from Draco, and yeah, it turns out a big old whale is going to just not care about that whatsoever as we coming into game 2, 1-0 up in this. And we're just changing places with a lot of movement on both sides from these characters. The Dolphins coming out from the Mei, and just Kai's mobility is nothing to sneeze at, to be quite honest.
Yeah, he is definitely pretty fast, and a lot of these close range combos are still pretty good, even if you want kind of like that longer range there. So, but once again, there's not a whole lot of these options that Mei does. Kind of puts her outside that sword range when on block. So a lot of these attacks are pretty safe, and can just keep throwing them down too, just like that, throwing out that low anchor, just being able to grab that round 1 here, and once again, back in the center. And Caldereth is throwing out a whole lot of pressure here. She's pulling what I like to call a Street Fighter, which is just a bunch of low kicks over and over again.
Those light buttons, and you use those to open up for your bigger buttons, and yeah, that's definitely working out for them as they have real.
Once again, we're getting pretty close here. Good overhead, but still blocked here. Mei taking a bunch of chip damage here. There's the burst to get a little bit of range. There's that projectile, but still can't find that last bit of damage, and that's going to be just a good 1-2 punch. Gonna figure out that last round here, and here we are. Round 3. Once again, getting in there with these Dolphins, putting a whole lot of pressure on to Draco here, really trying to find that intro, but once again, Ia real wise to folks just saying, oh, I'm going to jump over your Dolphin. Well, here's an uppercut. Here's a high Dolphin. You can't expect me to not have the answers to what you're going to do to me. So here we go. Kai is real low here. Draco trying to find a little bit of tempo in this 3rd round here, trying to get just a little bit of space, but can't quite find it. So that's the slash. That's the round 3, and that's going over to Mei here, because I believe they're up 2-0 in this round here. So that's all right. There we go. So here we are, match number 3. This is match point for Ia here. Ia does need to maintain this kind of pressure that they've able to do with Mei here, but man, Draco is really giving them a run for their money here as they're doing just so much damage early on, already below half HP before they're finally able to get in some decent hits for themselves, as Draco once again using these overhead kind of these backflip attacks to try to get in the pressure there. There's a good chunk of damage. They can't find the rest of the combo. There's a Roman cancel trying to get outside the block, still can't get there. There's the overhead, gonna punish the jump. There's the Roman cancel, look for a little bit more. There's a good throw. There's a good command grab there. They're looking for the last bit of damage, and they're going to be able to find it. Now we are now getting into round 2 here, and once again, this is looking pretty close for Draco here. Draco's been playing a real good game, but they really have to apply the pressure here, and they're definitely doing it. Only a little bit of damage on their half, and really shoving Mei into this corner here. They're able to finally use that burst in order to get them away from the corner here, and now it's Kai's turn in the corner, but never mind, as he quickly turns that around. Draco doing a real good job here. These buttons are coming out pretty fast from Mei here, really, once again, trying to put the pressure in their favor here. There's a good Roman cancel. Can they finish off the last bit of damage? The overhead. They're going to drop the combo at 8. 1, 2, 3. Going to knock him through the wall, and that is going to be round 2. And now we have Kai versus Mei, round 3. We're on the other half of the map now. This actually looks real nice. Look at that nice little big bonsai tree there. These walls are real nice. Was that metal? Ooh, real nice there. As we get a real good Roman cancel combo through the wall here. Now Kai is definitely on the right foot here. Good throw from Mei, trying to get a little bit of things into their favor here. Is a Roman cancel traded for a burst. Really can't find it. There's the burst coming out from Draco here as they're able to find round 3. They're able to find match 3 for themselves. So it is now 2-1. Ia is still in the lead, and Draco is going to have to work their way up to that match number 5 if they want to be able to claim this for themselves. All right, here we go. Round 1. Round 1, match number 4 here. 2-1 up for Ia here. So Ia has a little bit of safety, has a couple more rounds before they're really in some trouble here. So definitely have some wiggle room to work with. Draco is on the back foot here still in all of these matches. Any round could be their last, so they really have to they have to play real safe, respect their opponent's options a whole lot, as we already have a burst coming down from Ia before she gets into the corner here. And a lot of these approaches are getting really well punished here, but that's a real great combo. There's the Roman cancel, trying to get Mei into this corner here, but not really able to find to do it. But here comes Mr. Whale. Maybe a little too late. The block is good, and they're still in it. There's the Dolphins trying to get a little bit of space here. Can't quite find it. Projectile comes out, but that's a good jump over into the Roman cancel. Can't find the grab there. Ducks beneath it. There's the Roman cancel in response. Can they find the last bit of damage? Match it to the wall. There's the last hit. Slash. Round 1 goes to Draco.
All right, I'm back, and that's Australian internet for you. But I see it is currently, what, 2-1 in favor of Ia, and a really nice round. I saw the very end of that round from Draco finishing off that round, so very nicely done there, as now we're just seeing the response of just unending pressure of just big hits coming out of a Mei in the corner. So working their way out of that corner, really nicely done here from Draco.
Yeah, the counter hit was real good, and the pressure, once again, the pressure from these Dolphins is real. You never know how they're going to come at you here, and really trying to predict these jumps. As here comes another Mr. Whale.
Oh, that's an orca.
That's an orca. I mean, orcas are whales.
Yeah.
Those are whales.
They are. Mr. Whale usually implies.
They certainly are a whale.
Yeah. Really nice, just caught Draco trying to press a button, trying to get out of that corner, and just ends up clipping with it. So very nicely done, evening this one up, and this could be the round to finish it all. DP does not end up landing and gets kind of clipped for it, as we're just trading buttons back and forth. Good counter hit. He's gonna get a lot of damage out of this one. Try and get them into the corner, into the wall, and a little bit of extra damage. That's gonna send them through it. Just a little bit more is what's needed coming out of Xatarath, but that's a lot of tension on the side of Ia, and they could finish it with just one more solid hit. I do believe they are blocking.
Yeah.
And that, just a little bit more.
It's real close. There's the Roman cancel. There's the burst in response. Projectiles being jumped over. Well, the Dolphin really trying to find that chip damage. Here comes Mr. Whale.
No, that's Mr. Whale.
Trying to get through the block. The chip damage is good, though.
Just going straight through that.
And the match.
And that's the tournament.
And that's the
really
tournament.
Nicely done. Yeah, we saw Draco like start to turn it around there, but yeah, able to just mix up a lot of their pressure throughout this tournament, really, because we saw people trying to deal with a lot of Mei's buttons the way a lot of other Mei's would be playing, but it definitely was able to mix up the way in which they were approaching, counteract a lot of what the other three people were trying to do here today, and yeah, just really incredibly well done. We saw coming into this that they had leveled up their play, but it has just gone astronomically well for Ia here today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Ia definitely leveled up their game a whole lot. This is a completely different Ia from when we saw in the last tournament. You know, we saw Ia kind of get eliminated fairly early in the tournament and not be able to progress as far forward as they did today. I mean, they definitely had an impressive run through the tournament for sure. I think the biggest improvement was really getting a hang on these counterplay to May here. But I think we might have an interview with Ia in just a moment, so we'll be able to ask them these questions. All right, and here's Ia, the winner of our tournament today. Ia, how you feeling?
My hands are still shaking, to be honest.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, you mentioned it all coming into this that you'd leveled up.
Yeah, I've been putting a
It
lot of
worked out for you.
time into this. Like I'm already up to like 130 hours played of this, so I've been putting in some time.
Yeah, and it's definitely paying off. What do you think is the biggest aspect that you've leveled up from the previous tournament to this one?
Honestly, just keeping up the pressure. Like my last showing, I would back off way too much, and this time I just kept putting on the pressure, made people make mistakes, and then counter, just smacked them in the face with an anchor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so since it's fresh in your mind and your hands are still shaking from it, talk to us about that match against Draco. Like, what was going through your mind? What adaptations did you have to make as that match progressed?
Honestly, it's the reversal forge arcs, trying to bait those out so I'm not getting just hit every time by them, because I can play under them if it goes too high, or if I'm crouching under it, I can capitalize on that.
Really nicely done. I forgot what I was even going to say. Do you have anything?
Yeah, so talk to us about the rest of the tournament here. Obviously, we saw you saw Harrow for the first time probably, and then you were up against Kiwi again. Talk to me about some of these other matchups where maybe before you were not having as good a time, but now you had that kind of edge.
Honestly,
for these games here.
Going into this, I was afraid of the Ram because I had played a few practice matches before this and actually got dominated by a Ram in the park, just getting myself, warmed up to press buttons. And there was a lot of times where Ram was just getting those grabs on me, and I was just getting frustrated, trying not, fault fencing to push them away. So that was happening less. So that was my kind of game plan around once those command grabs started going out, was just pushing the Ram away so I could actually space out other things, So there's actually a third thing I learned with the Dolphins is that the heavy slash horizontal Dolphin, that you can actually kick after it, so you can kind of bait that out and then go right straight into a slash version. And
I was kind of noticing that you were able to hit a button while you're in the air coming out of that, and it seemed to catch a lot of people off guard. Because, as you mentioned, people expect to be able to hit a button out of that, but no, you got the leg just sticking out there, and you can just keep on applying that pressure. So, yeah, really nicely done.
Yeah, like I said, going into this, I had a lot of practice against the Floor 10 and Celestial players. There's a lot of Guilty Gear Strive players in the indie VTuber community that I played against them.
Yeah, for
Good
sure.
to hear. There's a lot of fun communities all over the place for this game. It's definitely just a lot of fun. So it's good to see people just really putting in the time and effort and leveling up their gameplay as we have living proof right here of how much you can level up your gameplay over the span of about a month, was I believe the last one. Yeah.
But I think
I just got to put that time in.
Yeah, I think that does it for our questions here. Do you have anything else you'd like to say while you got the floor?
I think that's gonna be it, and I'm just happy I won.
Yeah.
It was a lot of good games.
Sure.
Definitely a lot of handshaking games that made me really kind of almost lose my focus.
It's those kind of games that make you feel alive.
Yeah. Thank you so much for
thank y'all
joining us,
for
Nia.
hosting.
Congratulations on your win. But that does it for us here. Sword, do you have any closing things to say as before we
Yes,
sign
I
off? Here?
do. All right, thank you so much, Shinkari. Thank you so much, GLP, and thank you, Ia, for joining us. And congratulations on winning, Ia. The announcement I have at the end of the stream, since this way we'll give more time instead of just a week. If I don't knock my microphone over, audio engineer breaking his own mic. Anyway, the next Blazing 236 will be August 21st, 2021. That is approximately the 4th Saturday from now. So the 3rd Saturday in August, if that's confusing. Same time, same place. And I'll have the signups open on sometime the week of the 9th. And they'll close on Friday the 20th. And that's it from me, unless y'all have anything else to add.
They were good.
If y'all want to make like a Twitter post when that's going out, I can always share that. Might
Yeah,
be able to get
We
more
can all
people
just
in.
share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get it shared out. All right, well, this is Blazing236 signing off. Y'all have a wonderful weekend and a great Saturday. Or Sunday in GLP's case, I believe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.